Hey, my Legion, how y'all doing today? I'm here today to do my thoughts on the Re-Animator Film Franchise. Now, first of all, I want to thank my buddy Tim Sands for making an incredible, really cool thumbnail with me going like this. He said if you get the green, he got like, it's supposed to be glow in the dark, but it was close enough. It looked really cool, me holding like that, a syringe, and then next to it was a picture of Jeffrey Combs, who's iconic as a Re-Animator. He's playing Herbert West. He's perfect. And that's a photo for him in the prison from Beyond Re-Animator. Well, anyways, the Re-Animator series started way back in, I believe, 85, if I'm not mistaken. The year was 85. And this was one of the ones from Empire Films. And Empire Films was when Charles Band had his hands in a lot of things, and this was the Empire was like a film, bunch of films that usually play in theaters or drive-ins, and were filmed in Romania because it was cheaper to film there. And then it went out of business, and then he went on a full moon, and then a bunch of companies bought the remaining film, and you saw him strung out throughout the night, including Robo-Jocks, which I drugged my friend to see, that Stuart Gordon directed. He never let me live that crap down. He said, it's a big Transformer movie. I liked it, though, but boy, he never let me live that one down. That was kind of a stupid movie, but I kind of liked it. And Stuart Gordon did, of course, the first Re-Animator. And Re-Animator involves Herbert West. It was loosely based on the short story by H.P. Lovecraft, which I read, and it's completely different than the movie. But it's about Herbert West and his assistant, and they get like this serum, a glow-in-the-dark green serum that they inject in the dead bodies and brings them back to life. But they're kind of like the agitated dead. They're really like screwed up. And they attack people and kill people. And the main bad guy is played by David Hale, who was a genius. And sadly, he passed away in the early 90s. And that was a real loss. He was brilliant in that. He's also in a movie called Sinjanor. If you get a chance to see that, you get to see his madness even more. He's really, really good. He was very good as a bad guy. And it's lots of blood and gore. Great movie for gorehounds. It's a lot of fun. I really enjoyed it. I remember I was telling my one friend in work a long time ago, whose name was also Jason. This was a long time ago. Oh, maybe around 99 or 2000 or something like that. I said, he said he's a film critic. He said he said he especially hates movies from the 80s, so that's a red flag right there. But I mean, he just wanted to dump on every movie we've ever made. He hated everything. Anyway, I told him about Re-Animator. I said, he said he loves horror movies. He said he hates 80s horror movies. I said, you might like Re-Animator. It's really, really cool. He said, I never heard of it before. So I remember I recommended it to him. And he said, hey, I saw a movie Re-Animator. He said, what do you think? And he said, it was okay. I would have liked it better if it had CGI in it. Oh, my God. I mean, everything was done. I mean, they didn't have CGI then, but everything done practically, and it was done very well. It wasn't done practically well. It was done very well. But it's a 10 out of 10. Great film. And next came Bride of Re-Animator. And it came out when I was in the Army. I was really excited that it was coming out. I know my one... well, let me tell you. I mean, when I rented it, I rented the unrated version, thank you. Because back then they used to have the R-rated and the unrated version. I always get the unrated version. Sometimes they'll put the wrong version in there. Like Troma did that a lot. You know, the unrated version is where it's at because there's more blood and gore in it, you know. And this one is really good. I really liked it. I mean, the one thing that that disappointed me was some of the things that... The way it picked up, I mean, it ended... The first one ended with a bunch of things, and the way the second one gets brought up, a lot of things that happened at the end of the first one didn't happen at the beginning of this one. There was some inconsistencies. That's the only real complaint I ever had of it. And there's some really, really cool stuff and some great ideas from the whole cast and stuff like that. Screaming Mad George does a great job in the effects and stuff like that. I like that. That was a 10 out of 10. Now, I know my roommate at the time I was in the Army, I was playing the movie, and he saw like last hour. I said, man, this movie's pretty cool. And I said, well, I thought you didn't want to see it. And he said, well, Brian Re-Animator, that sounded really stupid. And he said, well, you want to see Pump Up the Volume? That sounded stupid to me. After that stupid song, Pump Up the Volume, Pump Up the Volume, that was stupid. And then I eventually saw that in the military theater. I really liked it, but Pump Up the Volume was a stupid title. He was saying that was a stupid title. Or like he got that Winona Ryder movie. I never saw Welcome Home, Roxy Carmichael. And I said, what's so great about that title? And you were bitching about Brian Re-Animator? But he tried to pull the old switcheroo on me on the one thing. Whenever they remade, in 1990, they remade Night of the Living Dead. Tom Savini directed it. It was still George Romero involved. He was still involved with it. And they said he just did that because he needed the money. And Tom Savini directed it. When we went to see that at the theater, and then we were going up to the theater, and he said, hey, do you want to see, instead of that, do you want to see Pump Up the Volume or Henry and June? I said, no, we promised to see this. We were going to see this one. Let's see this one. And it's all right. But in a way, I regret not seeing Henry and June. I'd never seen that movie because that would have been cinematic history. I don't know how good it would have been. It didn't sound very interesting. That's the weird thing. But Henry and June was the very first movie to be rated NC-17. Everyone thinks of Showgirls. The Showgirls was the most highest profile movie NC-17 back then. But that didn't come out for a couple of years. And there's two other movies that came out like Wild Orchid or Tie Me Up, Tie Me Down, which was the very first NC-17 I saw. And then that Ken Russell movie, Horror, which I loved Horror. The second Horror wasn't that great, but the first Horror was really good. And, we wanted to see Living Dead. And then like about a few weeks later, Pump Up the Volume played in the military theater and went to see that. And that was a great movie, despite the dumb title. But some movies have dumb titles. Brian Re-Animator, a far better title, Pump Up the Volume. That's just stupid. Well, anyways, so that happened, and, that was pretty much for the Re-Animator movies, I thought. And then in 2003, I heard that Brian Yuzna was going to make another Re-Animator movie. I was really excited to see that, Beyond Re-Animator. I had a really tough time finding it. I know it played on the Sci-Fi Channel. We have Sci-Fi, but it was heavily edited. It was like they edited down the TV PG. It's like, oh. And I didn't see it till like years later on maybe 2010 or 2009 or 2010 on IFC. I watched it with my dad, and it's and I watched it again. I only watched it once, and then I watched it again on Tubi TV like yesterday. And it's a fun little movie, but it's a big disappointment from the other ones. It starts out with these kids saying they're next to the cemetery, and then all of a sudden, his sister's there, and this dead guy who tongue's all messed up and hung out kind of kills the sister, and you see him trying to drink a thing of milk. And he gets shot, and he's killed in front of this kid who seen him kill his sister. And then you see Herbert West getting taken away, and a little kid finds a syringe of that stuff. And then you cut to modern day, like 10 years later or something like that, and the kid's a doctor. And he wants to work at this prison. That's a death row, max security prison. And they have like the death row part, and then Herbert West is there. And he said he wants to work with Herbert West, and then they end up going into doing experiments with the reanimation agent, And I mean, it's just a lot of story, a lot of characters and stuff like that. It's just not as good. I mean, it still has some fun moments in it, but it's a big letdown from the other ones. It's also not as gruesome. The great, best ending credits sequence ever. I'll give it that. The boxing between that Re-Animator Mouse and Re-Animator Wiener. That was funny. I had a couple of laughs, big laughs in it. But I mean, aside from that, it's okay. I mean, if you're a fan of the series, you want to see it. But I mean, you'll notice that it's not as good as the other two. And also the villain. The villain in this one is like a sadistic warden. He is nowhere near as good as David Hale was. David Hale was the man. David Hale was really good. Too bad they didn't get someone like Eddie Albert. Eddie Albert was really good playing a sadistic warden, but I don't know if he'd want to be in a movie like this. I mean, I think he passed away long ago. He's probably too old, but back in the day, he played a real, I mean, everyone remembers the lovable guy for Green Acres, but he played a really bad guy, too. Very scary bad guy. I remember I'm getting mad at him watching the movie Attack. And then someone knocked him out, shot him, and said, "There you go." My dad was laughing. He said, "You're getting mad at the movie." I said, "Yeah." He started laughing. But there you have it for my look at the. Oh, and I give Beyond Re-Animator probably a 6.5 out of 10. It was a disappointment. But there you have it. 2 great movies, and then a lesser film, but not a horrible film. But a horrible film compared to those two. I mean, if you saw it just by itself, you'd probably think it's slightly a tad above average. Beyond Re-Animator. But I mean, compared to the other ones, it was a major disappointment. So there you have it for my thing about the Re-Animator Film Franchise. I hope you liked this video. Until next time, bye, please. Take care, my legion. Okay. Oh, and stay tuned for this review sometime in the future. Wizard of Oz Cherry Cola. Yeah.